We're back on the air, and for those who don't know, heard in 28 countries. As of now, that's because of the social marketing aspect of this, and we are being hosted all week long by Now Speed in Westboro, Mass, and my friend David Reske.
Jeffrey, it's great to be here.
Thank you very much. Our next guest, thanks to you again, is Alyssa Dver of Mint Green Marketing and American Confidence Institute, and author as well, correct?
That is correct.
So tell us about yourself, and with these different areas that you're involved with.
Well, I have been a marketer since the day I graduated college. It was something I was very passionate about, international marketing.
A certified marketer.
Certified, amongst other things, yes, marketer, and product manager. And my when this relates to what we're going to talk about today, I went actually to college as an engineering student originally. And back in the day, it just wasn't the thing that I was too excited about, but I found marketing, so I went down that path and then came back full circle into technology marketing. As a marketer, though, one of the things that always fascinated me, and again, back to my college days, was motivational theory. And I just am really, really beyond interested, what makes people tick, what makes a brand tick.
Right.
And subsequently came full circle, I guess, about 2 years ago after writing a whole horde of books. This is my 6th book now that I'm coming out this week. Because I'm just fascinated by this topic of motivation, and it's manifested in the idea of what makes people and brands confident. There you go.
You've touched upon some labels of things that really interest me. You're looking at the psychology of branding.
Yes.
Any thoughts in terms of, what you try to communicate with people in terms of trying to understand the whole concept of the psychology of branding?
I fundamentally believe it's very similar to the psychology of what makes people confident as well, and it starts with transparency. I think there's a general human tendency to think that we can kind of make things look pretty ourselves, or our brands for that matter, and nobody will notice what's really underneath, and that's just not true. People get it, they see it, they smell it, even if it's a brand, a logo, a website. You can write a lot of good stuff on your website, you can even have case studies, but people will see through it unless you really live in what you're saying.
Right.
In the last few years, social media marketing has obviously come on strong. How do you see social media giving brands an outlet that maybe lets people see more of the reality of who they are and what they're doing?
David, I'm glad you put it that way, because I want to say I use social media for a lot of things, particularly in the marketing of my clients in all different ways, and I'm sure we'll talk about that later. However, I also find it is a terrible abuse in many cases of only putting out spun content. And I think to some extent people may buy off that, yes, let's use a personal example, you went out partied this night and then you went on a yacht the next day, but eventually people will see through it. And I think that is what kills brands. I think if you are very honest to who you are and what your values are, and you portray that in everything, especially social media, it has a tremendous positive impact. The minute that something slips or something that's not quite to your values and subsequently your brand, that's almost worse than not having anything out there at all. I think it can really be a killer. So I do encourage people to be very honest with who they are as people, and subsequently what their brand is, who they are as a company, what they are as a company. I think that's really, really key in today's world. I think we're also skeptical too, that we're almost hunting for that slip up. So rather than make that a vulnerability, just don't even give yourself that opportunity.
Yeah, it's an interesting challenge for marketers, because I think that marketers tend to want to put the spin on everything, but in social media it gives the opportunity to be really honest, and then the spin is who you really are, and it should come out in a very honest, authentic way. Can you, as you think about your clients or what you've done, or maybe just great brands, can you think of anybody that does that really well, or you've helped do it really well with?
Oh gosh, who's done it really well? I think that there are a number of what I would call organic brands, the Paul Newmans and the Timberlands, and companies that do have a social mission. And those are the ones that just jumped to the top of my head this morning. And the reason I pick on those is...
That's a good category, though.
It is a good category, because you know what? Here's the differentiation. They really know their market. They're not for everybody.
People resonate with that easily in terms of listening to the story.
Right.
Because people understand social marketing.
Right, they get it. So if you are somebody that it matters, you're somebody who cares about the environment, you're somebody that cares about making sure labor laws and things are adhered to and so forth. That content is very relevant to that audience. And I think that's also the key, is that I get a lot of prospects saying, I need content. I'm sure you do too, right, David? I need content, I need content. But if you're going to put out content that is not really representative of what you're actually doing, what you believe, again, that's like that vulnerable crack that people are going to see through. So I think some of the brands out there, the organic ones, as I mentioned, the socially responsible companies that really utilize that in a way that is not promotional, but much more, I mean, of course it's promotional, I guess, at the end of the day, but, it's really solid content. It's not so much, let me tell you why I'm so smart content, let me teach you about marketing, let me teach you about whatever it is because I'm so smart kind of content. I think that has a lot of value today.
If someone wants to find you at Mint Green Marketing or find your book, how would they connect with you?
Okay, great. Thank you for asking. Of course, LinkedIn is my favorite social media tool, particularly business to business. So by all means, send me a request to LinkedIn or find me there if you can. But website-wise, mintgreenmarketing.com, AmericanConfidenceInstitute.com. There's links to all my books. I have a new one coming out any day. Please, publisher, I hope you're listening. But any minute, called Kick-Ass Confidence, and it's all about neuroplasticity, if you can believe it, in a very subtle, gentle way, but taking lessons from professional and elite athletes and some of the top military and how they get their confidence aligned, and then applying it to the rest of us in the business world.